Hi, this is Mr. Nazarian. Our lesson objective today: I can understand and explain why multiplying a given number by a fraction less than 1 results in a product less than the given number, and multiplying a given number by a fraction greater than 1 results in a product greater than the given number. It's 5th grade standard, Numbers and Fractions 5. So while this lesson objective seems complicated, we're going to break it down and make it simple and understandable. So let's say that we're given a number like 4. If we multiply that number by a factor like 1, the product is going to be 4. So in other words, the product is going to stay the same as the given, we'll just keep calling this the given number. It's the original factor. So it'll stay the same, right? Anytime that we multiply a number by 1, the value does not change of that given number. It stays the same. However, if we multiply the given number by a factor greater than 1, such as 2, 4 times 2 will give us 8, which 8 is greater than the given number. So this we understand, we've been doing for many years, right? And we also know that 0, anytime we multiply 0 by anything, we get a product of 0. So the given number multiplied by 0 is going to be 0, which is less than 1. Okay, so this factor here of 0 is less than 1. It gives us a product that's less than the given number, right? So we understand this from our many years of experience of multiplying whole numbers. All that we're doing here is thinking about fractions now. So if we have a given number of 4 and we multiply it by a fraction, which is, in this case, half, and half is less than 1, right? We get a product of 2, which is less than our given number. So anytime that we're multiplying by a regular fraction where the numerator is smaller than the denominator, that means that the value of that is less than 1, right? So anytime that we multiply a regular fraction by a given number, our product is going to be less than the given number. Anytime that we multiply a given number by a factor that's greater than 1, in this example we have 2, but anything that's greater than 1. If we had 1 and 1/99th, that would be greater than 1, right? So anytime that we multiply a number by a factor greater than 1, it's going to give us a product greater than that original number. So knowing that, I want you to find a value of n that makes this statement true. 6 times n, so n is a variable, it's any number. You fill in the blank of what you want that to be. 6 times n is less than 6, but greater than 0. Give me one factor that would work to make that a true statement. All right, so we know that this n, this number that we're going to plug in here, cannot be 0, right? Because if we multiplied 6 times 0, we would get what? We get 0, right? So we know it can't be that because it says it has to be greater than 0. But we also know it has to be less than 6, which means we cannot do 6 times 1 because we know that that would be 6. So it has to be, the factor has to be anything in between 0 and 1. So if you said any regular fraction, you would be correct. So if we did 6 times, let's write this out here. If we did 6 times 1/2, we would get a product less than 6, which in this case would be 3, right? If we did 6 times, how about 1/10, right? That would be less than 6, but greater than 0. It would be 6/10, right? If we multiplied by, I don't know, how about 7/8? We would get less than 6 because the 7/8 is less than 1, right? So it's saying we're just taking 7/8 of 6. We're not taking a whole one group of 6. We're just taking part of the group of 6. We would get less than 6. And we would but we get more than 0. So any regular fraction is going to work for this scenario. And remember, regular fraction means that the numerator is smaller than the denominator. It's not an improper fraction. Okay. Now, what I'd like you to do is we're going to take a given number. This is going to be 2/3. And you have 4 different expressions here. We have 2/3 times 1/2, 2/3 times 12/7, 2/3 times 5/5, and 2/3 times 2 1/9. And we're going to place them in each of these categories. The product that each of these expressions are going to give us are either going to be less than 2/3, equal to 2/3, or greater than 2/3. So which one or more expressions would fit into less than 2/3? Okay, so we know that for the product to be less than 2/3, the factor has to be a regular fraction. It can't be an improper fraction, because improper fractions are more than 1. And it can't be equal to 1, because that would give us a product of 2/3 if we're multiplying by 1, right? So as I look up at these, I'm looking at all of them are 2/3, right, times something. I'm looking at the other factors. I'm just looking for regular fractions. And the only one of this, 1/2, 12/7, 5/5, 2 1/9, is going to be 1/2. I'm going to move that down here. So 2/3 times 1/2 is going to give us a product less than 2/3. So which one or more expressions would fit into equal to 2/3? Which one would give us a product equal to 2/3? So in order for us to get a product equal to 2/3, that would mean I would be multiplying by a factor that is equivalent to 1 whole. 12/7 is an improper fraction. It's more than 1. 2 1/9 is obviously more than 1. But 5/5, remember, if the numerator and the denominator are the same, that equals 1 whole. So 2/3 times 5/5 is going to give us a product equal to 2/3. All right, lastly, which one is going to give us greater than, or which expressions would fit into greater than 2/3? And obviously it is going to be 2/3 times 12/7, because 12/7 is more than 1 whole. It's an improper fraction. And 2/3 times 2 1/9, because it's going to give us 2 whole groups of 2/3 and a little part of 2/3 as well. So it's the final product is also going to be greater than 2/3. All right, so that's the kind of work we're going to be doing tomorrow, and look forward to working on that with you. See you then.